Good evening.
Good evening, Don.
As the person who ultimately signs off on what the Mueller investigation is authorized to pursue, it seems a deputy attorney general is in the president's crosshairs. The White House is even working on a plan to discredit Rod Rosenstein. What happens if the president fires him?
So I can't help but feel sorry for Rob Rosenstein, right? He's a registered Republican. He was unanimously confirmed by the Senate, and now it feels as though he's living through a scene out of Mean Girls. They won't let him sit at the cool kids' table, and when he goes out to the playground at recess, the GOP uses him as a punching bag. The seriousness of this, I don't think, can be exaggerating. Firing Rob Rosenstein is akin to firing Bob Mueller, as a matter of fact, whether or not that transpires or not. And if the predicate of firing Rosenstein is to curtail Bob Mueller or to fire Bob Mueller, then frankly, I think prima facie this is obstruction of justice, Don.
Do you think that Republicans will, at least in the House and Senate, you think that they will speak out against this if that indeed does happen, Rosenstein or Mueller? You said because it would be akin to firing Mueller.
I think some will. I hope more will than have thus far, but really, oftentimes this conversation quickly gets to the I word, impeachment. But the reality is that's not ever going to happen unless it's done jointly and together because of the 2/3 voting requirement according to the Constitution and the Senate. So I think before that happens, what is necessary is that both members of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have serious, somber, sober, adult-like conversations with themselves and with one another about their constitutional responsibility to provide a check and balance.
So as he had requested, House Intel Chairman Devin Nunes has received access to the document that led to the investigation of Russia and President Trump's team. Nunes had threatened Congressmen to impeach the Deputy AG and the FBI Director Christopher Wray. Didn't Republicans already shut down the House Intel Committee's Russia investigation?
They did. They voted to shut it down with the issuance of their report, which is now going through declassification process.
So why do they need this document then?
Well, Don, let's go back to March 21st of last year, where Devin Nunes, the day after that March 20th hearing that was such a disaster for them, went down to the White House to collaborate on how it is they could shut it down. That's been going on for over a year, although I must say that Chairman Nunes seems to have calmed down a little bit since the FBI provided them with those reports, which I will view, by the way, within the next 48 hours.
Why didn't they request this report when the investigation was happening?
You'd have to ask them. I really have no idea.
Yeah. So Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on your committee, says Republicans are laying the groundwork to fire Rosenstein, undermine the Mueller investigation. Is that what this is about, you think?
I fear that that is what it is about, and indeed that we are continuing to inch toward the constitutional crisis. Don, it gives me absolutely no joy, no psychic gratification whatsoever to say this. I think Donald Trump is manifestly unfit to be president of the United States. He had much higher approval ratings as a host on The Apprentice than he does as president of the United States. He's not well suited for this job, and I wish he'd have a conversation with his God and with himself and with his family about whether or not we would all be better served, frankly, if he would just resign, because this isn't going anywhere good. This has been going on 15 months. The truth of the matter is, with the raid on the Cohen offices, the fact of the matter is that this is going to accumulate, and it's rapidly becoming a question of not whether or not a crime was committed, but how many crimes were committed.
So are you calling on the president to resign?
I think he should consider that for the best interest of the country.
Do you think that is a real possibility, though, Congressman?
No, not at all, Don.
Yeah. So listen, I wanted to get to you because I want to talk about this Comey book quickly in the time that we have left, because he addresses the decision to reopen the Clinton email investigation 11 days before the election. He says in his book, "It is entirely possible that because I was making decisions in an environment where Hillary Clinton was sure to be the next president, my concern about making her an illegitimate president by concealing the restarted investigation bore greater weight than it would have if the election appeared closer or if Donald Trump were ahead in the polls, but I don't know." Do you think he's making excuses for all the criticism he received for that decision?
Well, I was one who also criticized him. I think the tradition and, in fact, the policy of the Federal Bureau of Investigation is that they not comment or release information of an incendiary nature in the course of an election campaign. And I would prefer that he have not done it, not just because of how it seemed to have affected my choice for President of the United States, because I think it would have been in the best interest of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Congressman. I appreciate your time.